Well, hello everybody. Thank you very much for coming to our session as one of our funeral fair chats that we're having with local experts. My name's Abi Pattenden. I'm the manager at Freeman Brothers, and I'm delighted to introduce Phil, who is our second guest of the day. I'm not going to say any more in the way of introductions. I'm going to let Phil introduce himself to us and tell us a bit about what he does.
Thanks, Abby. Hi, yes, hello to everyone. My name's Philip Mockett. I work for Horsham District Council. And I'm the Community Link Partnership and Projects Officer. The Community Link team, we provide technology to keep people safe across the district. So we go into lots of vulnerable people's houses and provide technology which saves their lives. And we also cover parts of mid-Sussex as well as the Horsham district.
Thank you. So obviously it's a really important job and it's very interesting as well. I mean, you've brought with you some of the sort of many things that you can offer, the different devices that we can help people with, that help them keep them in their own homes and keep them safe, as you say. Obviously, we do have an audience here, so we might have some questions from them. And if you do have a question, please raise your hand and I'll then pass it to Phil. He'll be happy to answer. But in the meantime, I have also got some pre-prepared things to get us going. Okay. So you've told us a little bit about the geographic area, and it's a very big area, isn't it? Is your service open to anyone who's resident in this area? Yeah,
so the whole of Horsham district, I think 256 square miles we sort of cover, and also, as I said, parts of mid-Sussex, which covers, so mid-Sussex their local authority do not do the same as Horsham district. They don't offer this service. So the other local authorities around mid-Sussex, including ourselves, cover that area. So we cover Burgess Hill, Haywards Heath, Hurstpier Point, Hassocks, all the surrounding villages around there. So
it's a really, really big, widespread area, and so obviously there are going to be a lot of people who you and your team are helping every day.
Yes, yeah, we're very busy. My team, I think there's only 7 of us and a manager. Most of us that work part-time as well, so in our part-time working we are extremely busy.
That's interesting, and I suppose it's very rewarding to be able to help people and, as you say, keep them safe, and I suppose some of this equipment does help save people's lives.
Yeah, I always say to people, barely a week goes by without someone telling me that our technology has saved their lives, because I get to hear all the quite sad stories on some occasions, but our goal is really to get people to take up our service before something happens to them. We have a lot of people being referred in from professional services, health professionals, after something's happened to them, after a hospital admission. But I think our challenge is to let the communities know that their local authority do provide this service for them. It is a paid for service, but we are the cheapest provider for what we provide.
Yes, because presumably there are other companies who offer the same kinds of products and services, but because it's not through the local authority, it's on a very different basis.
Yeah, I mean, the sole purpose of the companies that we are sort of competing with are, that they exist to make money, whereas we exist to provide a service from the local authority to the community.
Yeah. So tell us about some of the bits that you've brought with you today. Are these some of the things that you would give to people quite a lot?
Our 7 link alarm is, this is I call it our bread and butter. We have just short of 2,000 service users with these alarms. Wow. These are all digital. So they're very quick. They link directly through to our monitoring centre. So these are plugged in at home. I normally install them where somebody spends most of their waking time. Hallways are good because they're normally central in the home. And our service users will wear a trigger button either around their wrist or around their neck. I've got, it's just a button which will trigger this alarm. Within 10 seconds, it is connecting to our monitoring centre at Mole Valley. 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, a trained professional operator would talk to our service user through the speaker, reassure them, get help for them in an emergency by the way of emergency services, and also contact their next of kin or any emergency contacts that we would have taken from them on the installation, so they would be notified about what's happened to their loved one.
So it's pretty easy to see how something like that can actually be life-saving, because obviously if you have a fall at home and you don't have a system like that, you are reliant upon someone sooner or later finding you or finding a way to raise the alarm yourself, whenever that might be or however long it might take.
Exactly. Sadly, once we hit 65, 1 in 4 of us over the next 12 months will have a fall. And that actually goes up when you hit 80, 1 in 2 people will have a fall in those next 12 months. If the fall is in your own home and people living on their own, especially we visit some very isolated properties, unless they're going to be visited by a loved one or a carer or a visitor that particular day, if they cannot get to the phone and they are incapacitated, then the technology we provide literally is a lifesaver.
Because of course I suppose that type of demographic of people might also be the person who is less likely to have a mobile phone, and if they do have it, less likely to be keeping it on their person.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would really like to have to carry a mobile phone around with them in their own home. I always say to people the bathroom is the most dangerous room in the house. That's why all our trigger buttons are waterproof and showerproof. I say to people, don't ever take it off. I'm always telling people off if I see that they're not wearing it. There is a trigger button on the alarm which has got a help button on it, but if they're if they're in their bedroom and the alarm's in the downstairs in the hallway, it's going to be difficult for them to trigger the alarm unless they're wearing their button. So we're always reminding people to wear their trigger buttons, and they've got a range of 300 meters. So they're covered in their own garden, and even if they were to have a fall in the garden, and the monitoring centre obviously aren't going to hear them. What happens in that occasion is that they would phone the service user, and of course they're not going to answer the phone because they're in their garden. And then the next step they'll take is by contacting on the emergency contact list. And they say if it's a son or a daughter, they'd say to them, mum or dad has pressed their trigger button, we can't hear them, please can you go and investigate and make sure that they're safe.
Yeah.
So they may well need the emergency services, but they might not know. They'll only phone the emergency services if they know it's an emergency.
Yeah, of course. So it's sort of a multi-level process, really. So it's obviously something that's been really well thought out for the service users and what they need.
There is a set process that the monitoring centre operators.
Yeah.
I think we have a question.
Oh, lovely.
I'm just interested in the button.
Yes.
Does the button itself generate a noise or a light or something to let the service user know that the press has worked? So if you're out in your garden and away from the unit, do they know that pressing it has activated something?
Oh, that's a great question. So just to recap, just in case our video didn't pick it up, is there any sort of warning that the button has been triggered on it itself? So would someone know that it had gone off?
It is a really good question, and the company have thought of everything actually. I work with lots of different technology companies before we decided to work with this company called Chip Tech. They seem to have thought of everything. They even have designed, I'm not sure if you can see, but there is a band going around the outside of the button. When it is activated and connecting to the alarm, this flashes orange. So if somebody's at the bottom of their garden, I always say to them, as long as it's flashing orange, it will 100% have triggered, it's 100% reliable, trigger the alarm. I've never pressed one of these buttons and it not work.
That's amazing, isn't it?
They do have a battery life of 5 to 7 years.
Gosh.
But before they fail, they send a message to our monitoring centre silently, and the monitoring centre let us know. We phone our service user up and say, can we come and change your button over? And that's about 6 weeks before it would probably fail.
Gosh.
But when they trigger the button, sorry, it's not programmed in, so I can't actually
Don't worry.
show you.
No live demos, I'm afraid.
But when they do trigger the alarm plays quite a loud tune for about 10 to 15 seconds, and it is quite a loud tune. I would suggest that if you're anywhere in the house, you would be able to hear that you've triggered the alarm.
Brilliant. I mean, obviously, this is only one of the many things that you can offer to people. So how does it work when you go out and see someone? How do you assess what things they require and what services are suitable for them?
I think initially it comes through from the initial referral from either a health professional or family or a self-referral. So we get an idea of the circumstances surrounding why they have contacted us in the first place. But when we call it a triage, where we speak to somebody on the phone initially, we would talk to them about where their anxieties lie. Everybody is different. Some people are worried about, various things. So we would talk to them about what their lifestyle is like, whether they go out walking, where they feel most vulnerable. So from that conversation, we would then advise accordingly to make sure they have the correct technology to relieve their anxiety, really. So some people say to me, look, I'm fine at home. I really feel safe in my own home. My neighbours are close, but I go walking in quite remote areas. So our technology does promote sort of fitness and exercise as well, which in turn prevents people falling over.
Yeah, of course.
So we like to encourage them going out walking. So we would then advise on possibly a GPS tracking device for them, where it's like a smaller version of the alarm that they wear, and it's a GPS tracking device. So the monitoring centre know exactly where that individual is, because the device sends the monitoring centre the coordinates of its exact location.
That's amazing. So it's all really very personalised to what each particular service user wants and needs from what you can provide for them.
Absolutely. It's I think you've hit the nail on the head there. We're a very bespoke service. We are all advisors. We aren't judged on how much technology we install. Sometimes I feel a bit like a salesman with all my gadgets, but I'm definitely not a salesman. I'm an advisor, and our advice is completely free. Whether people take that advice or not is completely up to them. There's no pressure from us whatsoever. Most people do take our advice. Because we are experts in the technology that we can provide, and we know from experience how it can help people relieve anxiety and save their lives.
And I suppose it being an organisation like Community Link, which is obviously part of the District Council, that gives extra reassurance to people as well, because you've got something official, as opposed to, as we said earlier, being from a private company who've got a very different agenda in mind, perhaps.
Yes, I mean, a lot of people, they see the local authority as a safe bet. Really, we're not gonna go out of business anytime soon, hopefully. So indeed, it's the council website. We have a really good page on the council website which directs people through to us as a telecare provider.
And one of the things that you told me when we talked before today was that you get asked a lot about digital phones. So could you tell me a bit more about that and why it comes up a lot?
Yes. So British Telecom have decided to change the way that we have our home phones and how they contact the outside world. So everybody's phone lines are changing from analogue to digital. Now, initially, British Telecom said, I think it was by the end of 2026, I think, or it might have even been by the end of this year, that everybody's lines will have changed over to from analogue to digital. Now, all our alarms are now digital, but all our service users did have analogue alarms. So we had the unenviable task of visiting nearly 2,000 people to swap their... I mean, it was a great opportunity for us, actually, to visit all of our service users, to review their circumstances, to make sure that the technology they have was the correct technology for them, because people's circumstances do change. So it was a great opportunity for us. But we've over the last 2 years, we've been swapping all those analog alarms, which would go through the old telephone line system, through to these digital alarms, which are lightning fast. They work off the cellular network, so they don't go through your telephone line anymore. So they connect through to our monitoring centre. They search the strongest mobile telephone signal that there is. So, you know, I'm with EE and you might be with Vodafone, but our alarms will search all of them and lock onto the strongest signal. So most of our service users are in their 80s. Many of them aren't great with technology and the advancing, you know, what's happened with technology. So the word digital actually frightens some people. They talk to me saying my phone, like, you know, my phone isn't going to work and my alarm isn't going to work. So I think a big part of our job was to allay people's fears on what's happening. And lots of times they say to me, I hope it's not complicated, this new alarm. Well, the new alarm has got one wire. It plugs in and that is it. The old alarm had a plug-in wire, a wire leading to the telephone, a dongle coming out of it for their telephone line. It had all these wires coming into it, and it took about a minute for it to dial through to our monitoring centre. And a minute is a very long time if you need help in an emergency.
Of course.
If you're in pain, if you're on the floor, that minute must seem like a very long time. Whereas the digital alarms, 10 seconds, straight through to our monitoring centre. And so the digital change has been, I think it's been a really good thing, because I think the technology is amazing, what the companies have come up with. Certainly Chip Tech, the company that we use, all our alarms come with a LinkedIn smoke detector as well.
Oh gosh, that's good, yeah.
We're the only provider of telecare that offers a free smoke detector with all our alarms, and they're worth about £60.
Gosh, yeah.
So it's just as added a safety for
that's amazing.
For service users.
We are running out of time, unfortunately, which is a shame, because it's clear that you know loads of stuff, and there's loads of stuff that you could tell us about the Community Link service as well. But I suppose if I had one last question to ask you, I would ask, what's the most important message that you'd like to share with all of our audience who are here, but also who we're videoing, who will see this later? What's the most important thing you'd tell them about the service?
I think the most excuse me, I think the most important thing, or the message I'd like to get across really, is that technology is for everybody. We hear a lot of people saying, you know, I'm not old enough to have one of those buttons yet. We have some young people with our service who've got lifetime illnesses and conditions like epilepsy, multiple sclerosis, ME. And I don't think, nobody knows what's around the corner. And I think the technology that can help people is very advanced now, and if it can save people's lives, then the message to get out there is to, if you know anybody that's vulnerable, that has not got something to keep them safe in their home, then please consider talking to them about certainly our service, and we would offer them advice.
Thank you. That's such an important message to finish on, Phil. Well, I'd like to say thank you very much to Phil Mockett, who is from Community Link Horsham District Council, for taking the time to come along to our funeral fair today. My name's Abi Pattenden from Freeman Brothers, and we're very grateful to you for watching, so thanks very much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Abi.
Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like any more information about any of the topics that we've covered in this session, then please do visit the links below for more details, and we'll look forward to helping you soon.